Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 424. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today we've got Kevin Ragshaw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going pretty well. How about yourself?
Oh, it's going all right.
All right. Great. This week on the show, we'll be taking a look at Halloween Kills, the much anticipated sequel to David Gordon Green's Halloween pseudo-sequel reboot thing that came out a couple years ago. Also be going over some we're watching on the watch list and this week's new releases in theaters and on VOD and Blu-ray. Thank you so much for joining us. This week, please remember to review us on iTunes if you get a moment. That would be very helpful. Just a quick housekeeping bit. The new Saved by the 90s has been recorded. I'm in the process of editing it right now, so it should be out relatively soon. We tackled sci-fi horror movies of the 90s this month, and that includes reviews of Event Horizon, Cube, classic, Brain Scan, starring Edward Furlong, and Species.
Oh.
So, yeah, check that. That was fun to revisit some of those. So, stay tuned for that. I'll be announcing the release of that on social media. So, all right, let's go ahead and dive into our review. We're talking about Halloween Kills. This is directed by David Gordon Green. I have a synopsis here. The saga of Michael Myers and Laurie Strode continues in the next thrilling chapter of the Halloween series. That's the best IMDb could do with that synopsis. I bet I have an email that has a better synopsis, but just for fun, I like to stick with the IMDb ones.
Hell yeah.
So, you and I both saw this yesterday. It is playing in theaters, and it's on Peacock, which I totally didn't even know. You told me about this. You're like, hey, Halloween Kills, Peacock. I'm like, what? And I have Peacock, as it happens, so, yeah.
I love that, I love that string of developments where I was like, hey, I think this is on streaming. And you're like, no, it's not. And I'm pretty sure I was annoying the hell out of you. And then I was like, no, I read it's on Peacock. And then you're like, oh my God, it is. I have Peacock. And I was like, well, shit, we can watch this.
Well, like, I thought it was, at first I thought you were saying like it's going to be coming to Peacock later, which made sense. But I didn't know at first that you were like, yeah, it's out now, day and date on the Peacock service. So, yeah, I was really excited to be able to catch. I mean, I was going to go see it in the theater anyway, so, but my wife really wasn't interested, so this worked out good.
Perfect, man. And it saved you some gas. Gas prices are ridiculous right now.
Yeah, what's up with that? I heard about that. It's crazy.
It's supply chain.
Yeah. What a nightmare we live in. So I enjoyed the last Halloween. If I remember correctly, you were pretty much okay on it too, right? You were like,
yeah,
you liked it, you didn't love
right.
it. That's kind of how I thought about it. I watched it twice. I think we had Ryan watch it for Ryan Watches Movie, and I rewatched it for that, and I still enjoyed it. So I was pretty excited going into this one. Now, one thing that I noticed about Peacock that I do not like at all is the fact that they have, when you're watching a movie, they have the Rotten Tomatoes score always showing on the player. I don't know if you noticed that. So like if you hit pause or whatever, like, you know, where it shows where you're at in the movie, the Rotten Tomatoes score is always there next to the title. And that really bothers me because I feel like there's too much weight on the Rotten Tomatoes score. And I say this as someone who is a Tomato Meter approved critic. Like, it's too much. Like, yeah,
there's no need for it to be everywhere, and for them to be doing like who owns them? How they get so powerful?
Somebody owns them. They're not I don't think they're their own. Oh, Fandango owns them.
But still, like, why did people agree to this?
I don't know. I don't know
like
why.
If you're NBC, why are you like, yeah, let's put the tomato score, which is just a lovely turn of phrase to hear.
It's
to be to work your whole life to try and make, how difficult it is to make a movie, to be cast
Yeah.
in a movie, that all those things, that industry as a whole, and then to be hung up and utter the words tomato score.
What's your tomato meter score? There is so much weight on it now. It got to the point, so like just to get a little bit inside baseball, the podcast, the Film Pulse podcast, the show you're listening to now, was not on Rotten Tomatoes. So we did this completely separate from when I would write my own personal written reviews. Like all of those would go all of those would go up on Rotten Tomatoes because I'm on Rotten Tomatoes as a critic. However, there were so many movies that we reviewed on this show that the PR people, sometimes the filmmakers, they would actually contact Rotten Tomatoes and ask that our review be featured on there, that we did in the podcast. So Rotten Tomatoes actually reached out to me and they added our podcast to Rotten Tomatoes because that score is just so important and there's so much weight attached to it these days that
it's just another weird thing.
Yeah.
Too. And to take that a little bit further in terms of the amount of work that it takes, and a lot of it's just luck, dumb luck. Things, the planets aligning, and then you utter the word tomato score. But then also to be like, okay, the tomato score that is created in part by just two random guys that grew up in central Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I mean, it's like
shooting a shit.
It's the most arbitrary thing, and also like there was a time. I'm not going to say the specific movie, but there was one moment when I gave a score of 5.5 out of 10 to a movie, which meant that it was rotten on the scale. So if you're doing out of 10, it needs to be a 6 out of 10 in order to be fresh. And see, that's the problem. We've talked about this before. The problem with Rotten Tomatoes is it's either good or bad. There's no in between. It's either a good movie or a garbage movie. And there was a situation where I gave a movie a score that made it just at that rotten level, and it skewed the average down to where that movie, when you go to the Rotten Tomatoes page, it was rotten because of that. And the filmmaker ended up reaching out to me and stuff, and it was just a bad situation. It was just, and I think that Rotten Tomatoes is fine. It's a fine site for people who they're not sure about a movie or whatever. They want to see what people are saying or what critics are saying before they go spend their money and go see it. And I get that. I understand why it exists, and I like being a critic on Rotten Tomatoes, but at the same time, to put that much emphasis on the score and to have it be like on these streaming services where every time I pause Halloween Kills, the Rotten Tomatoes score is in my face. Like, I just don't think that that's good. I think that that's counterproductive when it comes to watching movies, because you're going to be influenced by that score that's staring at you.
I also like that this movie has a bad score. So it's essentially like anytime that you pause this,
right?
The Peacock is like, "Are you sure? Like, what the fuck? You did like it's rotten."
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, they're really proud of it. They're putting their force behind this. When you go to the Peacock website, it's like on the homepage shows up, "Watch Halloween Kills now," but it's like you click on it and it's like 43% rotten, and you're just like, all right. Maybe I won't. I don't know. It's weird, man. Like,
It is.
I don't think it should exist like that. Anyway, now that my little Rotten Tomatoes tangent is over, let's talk about Halloween Kills. Unfortunately, I agree with the Rotten Tomatoes score on this one. I think that it started off for me really strong. Like I was like, I saw that score when I hit play, so I knew that it was like sitting at a rotten score, 43%. So it's like not horrible, but And I was like, oh, I don't. After the first like 20 minutes, I was just like, I don't get what people are hating about this. Like, this is awesome. But after I would say like maybe the 35-minute mark, it takes a very drastic turn and just completely bottomed out for me. Like, it just went downhill so fast for me that I was like gobsmacked at the complete 180 that this movie takes. And it was almost like it was like two different movies for me. Like, there was that first 30 minutes, I was loving it. But from that hospital scene with the crowd, you know the one I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, buddy.
From that point, the movie completely changes, and I was just like, this is awful. Nothing about this is fun. Nothing about this is scary. I was just so checked out when that whole thing started up, which is so disappointing, because I think that the idea of this movie, like the concept of it, I think is really cool. Like, what the dumb IMDb synopsis doesn't tell you is that, we know that Michael Myers survives the events of the 2018 Halloween. This takes place on the same night, by the way, which I think is cool when movies do that. And you have what is essentially survivors of Michael Myers, like, getting the community together and forming like a militia to go after him and kill him. And I think that in and of itself is a cool idea. However, where they go with it is lame, and I was not on board at all with how they developed that.
Yes. Unlike you, I was not hooked in the beginning of this movie. I actually saw it kind of the opposite, where I felt like the opening of this, and just the whole thing as a whole, honestly. But the opening really had me worried because it felt like a mess. There's so many cuts, and there's so many, we're going back and forth between time. We're introducing so many people. And yes, I do kind of like this idea of the survivors throughout, getting together to take them down. So there was a little bit of interest in that part, but the way in which that it was set up between, the flashbacks and introducing these people, and it just felt like a goddamn mess. And I was just really worried, like, okay, this is really sloppy right out the gate. This does not feel good. And then, like you said, what they end up doing with it, not only does it get kind of lame, but like the writing's really bad, which just kind of surprising coming from David Gordon Green and Danny McBride. There's just some really laughable lines in this movie that just are fucking dumb as hell.
I mean, I think that what it was they tried to inject this like social commentary into it, and I don't think that worked. Like this is a Halloween movie. Like, just have it be a Halloween movie. Let's just have a scary, bloody, fun time. Why do we have to like get into this whole like, he's turning us into monsters, and like the crazed militia thing, like.
Well, I like.
Come on.
There's the whole, at his house, his childhood home, and he stands at the window.
Mm-hmm.
But what if he's not looking out? What if he's
looking at himself? Yeah.
I'm like, shut the fuck up. Are you serious? Are you going to put that in there?
You mean to tell me there's not a single mirror in that house that he couldn't just look at himself in the mirror? Right? Like, it wasn't when he killed his sister, she was at her like little vanity thing looking at herself in the mirror, so
fucking, it feels like this, like, honestly, this doesn't feel like a Halloween movie to me at all. Like, there's Michael Myers, right? But
yeah, like, that's the thing. That's why I liked the beginning, because to me the beginning did feel like more like a Halloween movie. The flashback that was in the 70s, and you had the scene with Jim Cummings, and then like the I actually did like the scene when he was coming out of the building and he had his confrontation with the firefighters. Like, I thought that was a badass scene. Now, did that feel like a Halloween movie? No, not really. It was like an action movie, but still, I thought that the way it looked, I mean, him emerging from that, like the burning building and stuff, I thought looked badass. And that's the thing, like there's a lot of scenes in this that I think visually looked good. Like they were, a little bit stylish. And so there were certain visual elements that I thought looked really cool. Like the movie itself looks polished. I like the aesthetic of it and everything. Like the flashback scenes I thought looked really good. But yeah, it's just like where it goes is just not, it's just so lackluster, man. And like the whole thing that I liked about David Gordon Green's version was that the people were pretty smart. I mean, at this point you have Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis's character. She's been preparing for this her whole life. She is like a trained badass killer. And then you have her daughter played by Judy Greer, who, she raised her daughter and trained her up too. So she knows a thing or two about survival. But then you have this scene at the end. I'm not going to spoil anything about this movie, but there's something that happens at the end where you're just like, what are you? Like, this guy. Michael Myers. Why would you do that? You're so freaking dumb.
Yeah.
Specifically the Anthony Michael Hall character. I like that that he was playing Tommy Doyle. I thought that was kind of cool. They brought him in as Tommy Doyle. He wasn't the original. No, there's no way he was the original Tommy Doyle.
I hope he was. But no, I'm pretty sure he wasn't.
There's no way he was.
But
he's too young.
I think that's another thing that kind of irritated me with it on a couple of different levels. One, I hate the idea, and I know this is how most movies are made now, but I hate that you can tell that when they started this a Halloween trilogy of sorts, that it wasn't prior to filming written out as a trilogy. You can tell that they're trying to make this of the moment, and they're kind of like, maybe they were surprised by the first one. They're like, oh shit, we have to write a second one. Okay, well, here we go. But it also feels like not only they're trying to make it of the moment, but it feels like they were forced into making it where, like they had to make it now. And Jamie Lee Curtis was like, I'm sorry, I'm busy. I can't be in it. And they're like, okay, well, we'll have you do like a couple scenes in a hospital. And that's it. Because she's not in this movie.
Yeah, she's not really. Well, I mean, I think that, yeah, I don't know if they were planning on the sequel to begin with. If they were, they sort of wrote themselves into a corner with her being very gravely injured at the end of the last one. So, I mean, really, if they were going to do it and they wanted to do it in the same night, it makes more sense that she would be kind of stuck in the hospital because she's pretty much dead, And the same with the cop, Will Patton's character, Officer Hawkins. Like, you think that he's dead in the last one, so
somehow. Which, okay, I mean, that could be slightly interesting in that, she gets sidelined. So Judy Greer, who is, raised with this, but she kind of went off and tried to make her own life and tried to forget about this, and now she's pulled back into it. Okay, maybe she has to finish this. But like you said, it makes no goddamn sense at the end.
Yeah, I think that they just everything was blundered at the end. Like the end was just so disappointing. This was supposed to. I feel like this series was supposed to be like, it was supposed to capture everything that made the Halloween series fun and alluring, but also modernize it to the point where like it sort of circumvents some of those tropes, some of those kind of 80s slasher movie tropes. But at the end of this movie does not. I mean, it just feels so dumb, like just so dumb at the end. I was just so disappointed.
Well, and also it's just like they turned it into not a Halloween movie.
No.
It really feels like he feels like an action anti-hero where he's just I mean, and he's old as fuck, but for some reason now he's spry as hell. He's got so much agility.
Well, we know that he's got
Fuck people
supernatural.
up. But he's
He's
also
got powers.
yeah, but they also speed him up a little bit. Like he's a slow ass dude, and he catches you.
They
But
did make
no,
him.
he's taking on like 15 people
That's
at
one. Yeah,
once.
that's one thing I definitely noticed about this one is that they made him a lot more like just fast and aggressive. Like he's called the Shape. So like the thing that made him creepy was how he would just stand around, and like
yeah,
you didn't really see him running ever.
which is bravo to Carpenter. Is that he made a horror movie,
With the
an
William
entire
Shatner
franchise
mask.
For decades, and it's just a guy standing.
I'll
He's
tell you, I
standing.
mean, the original Halloween, it still holds up, man. It is so good.
Yeah,
It's
but I do
easily
wonder.
one of the best horror movies ever made.
But I think that's one of those. That's one of those instances where his music,
Hmm.
coupled with the execution, just takes it over the top.
Yeah.
Because I think if you don't have that music in that original movie, and you just have like a very mediocre score, you're just like, this is all right.
No, yeah, the music, yeah, Carpenter's score is like 100%. It is so identifiable. Like it goes hand in hand. I mean, it's almost as iconic as the mask itself.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now the one thing writing wise that I did appreciate, but it was a little bit. It didn't, it didn't overcome all the issues that I have with this movie. But I did like, there's that the voiceover with he's turning us into monsters, and
Mm-hmm.
what if he's the hate that divides us, all that poignant uh of the moment commentary that we so desperately needed from David Gordon Green and Danny McBride in the Halloween series.
In a Halloween sequel.
Also Scott Teams. Sorry that I keep
Yeah.
Scott Teams Erasure. Sorry. I did like as they're doing that, and you see this. I guess that would spoil it though.
Yeah, I think that would probably spoil it.
Okay, we'll do a spoiler section because that was the one thing where I was like, okay, I mean, I kind of like that, but a little bit,
Yeah.
too late.
All right. Let's go ahead before we get into a spoiler section. We'll be putting that at the end of the show. Let's go ahead and give this a score. Kevin, what are you going to give Halloween Kills?
It's just a goddamn mess, and I will say that I really appreciate between this and watching Midnight Mass, my last couple of days just really, featuring a lot of Robert Longstreet. Really appreciate that.
A lot of long
Big
street.
fan.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Love it. And it's odd to go from Midnight Mass with the big ass beard to clean shaven Longstreet. You don't get a lot of clean shaven Longstreet nowadays.
No.
But I really appreciate that. I enjoyed that. The Big John Little John thing was annoying as hell.
Yeah.
It's just a goddamn mess. And then the commentary thing was just so poorly written. It's just so surface level and on the nose. Just, oh, man. I gotta say, I did like some of the kills. I mean, it was pretty brutal.
Yeah, before we end it off, I did want to mention that the body count was significantly higher this time around, and they upped the gore.
He kills the whole town.
Yeah, they definitely upped the gore in this one. I really liked the kills. I thought it was good as far as all the kills go. There were some surprises in there. There was one. It wasn't even a kill really. A death that happened that surprised me.
Yeah,
that I thought was kind of funny.
An inadvertent suicide.
So yeah, that was good. I thought like all the makeup effects and stuff was spot on too.
Yeah, it's just too much of a mess for me, and not in a good way.
Same.
It's not an endearing mess.
All right, what are you gonna give it out of 10?
Boy, like a 3.
I'm sitting at a 4 on this one. So
yeah,
There you go, Halloween Kills. It is in theaters and on Peacock if you're a premium member right now. All right, let's take a look at what we have on our watch list. I don't have much this week. I, like you, have been watching Midnight Mass. I finished it last night. Or actually, I guess it was 2 nights ago. Really incredible. If you guys haven't started Midnight Mass yet, I suggest you dive into it. It's not like I wouldn't go into it expecting Haunting of Hill House or anything like that. Like, it's not like terrifying. It's not traditionally scary.
Yeah, it's much better than what was the Bly Manor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's way better than that. Not to say I didn't like Bly Manor. I just wasn't very engaged with that story. In fact, I pretty much forgot that show existed. So
that was one of those instances of just let's draw out everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It was okay, but yeah, compared to Bly Manor, this is like way above and beyond. I mean, this show is like top tier Flanagan here. I do wish it was a bit more scary. Like I wish there were some more horror elements to it, but again, with like Mike Flanagan, the horror elements always sort of take a back seat to the characters and the interaction between the characters. Tons of monologues in this. If you like movies that have really heavy monologues, like this show is so chock full of monologues, it's insane.
Yeah, we could have cut some of them, I think.
Oh, dude, and a lot of them are very long too, so it's pretty intense monologuing. Anyway, so the only movie I saw was one called Bingo Hell. This is one of the Blumhouse Amazon Prime movies that dropped this Halloween season. I think there's like 4 of them that came out or something. Anyway, this one's directed by Gigi Saul Guerrero, and it's about an area called Oak Springs where it's an old neighborhood, and there's a lot of elderly people that live there, and basically their community is becoming gentrified and they're not happy about it. People are moving out. Companies are coming in. These like hipster companies are coming in, coffee shops and craft beer places and whatever, coming in and buying up the storefronts and stuff, pricing people out. And this bingo parlor opens up, and it is run by this guy named Mr. Big, and it's actually Richard Brake who plays Mr. Big, and he's such a creepy dude, like super creepy in everything that he's in. He's such a good horror actor. Unfortunately, this movie is absolute garbage. I really hated it from start to finish. Like, I just could not get into it. I tend to like movies about gentrification, but for whatever reason, this one it was so ugly. Like, everything about this movie just looked horrible. And the story was just all over the place. Nothing felt cohesive. And it was just a real disappointment. I think that this director, Gigi Guerrero, I think that she has a lot of promise. She did Culture Shock, which was another Blumhouse. It was like a Hulu one, and that was pretty good. And I heard that some of her other films, what's it called, Barbarous Mexico, I heard that was pretty good too. So I think that she has a lot of promise as a director, but I think that this project was just not the right fit for her necessarily. It just, I don't know, it felt really cheap. It felt like a TV show, almost like an episode of Tales from the Crypt.
Okay.
Not like an actual movie. So yeah, Bingo Hell, cannot recommend it. Just don't waste your time with it.
I have one that I have no idea what to think. Honestly, I still don't know what to think. And that's House from 1986, the Steve Miner American
Hmm.
House. Not the Japanese, not that one.
The
This is
American one.
this is the American 80s, whatever the hell that it is.
Ding dong,
Not
you're dead.
Ding dong, you're dead. Roger Cobb, who is a horror author that everyone just recognizes, just everyone knows authors back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Everyone was a huge fucking fan of this guy. So he moves in to, god damn it, I can't even remember if it was his aunt's house. There's something off about this house, man. Weird stuff going on. It's like it tricks you. It knows everything about you. But he goes there and he wants to get some writing done. He also, maybe he finds his son that went missing at the house years ago. Who knows? But he's got some stuff he's got to deal with. And most notably is that he's got to write this book about his experience in the Vietnam War. And this movie is just so fucking weird.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily in a good way, just in a way that seems like they couldn't decide what they wanted this to be. Tonally, it's all over the place. Like, it'll be just like silly, and then it's doing, like Vietnam trauma type stuff. But then those flashbacks are also just absolutely silly. And I don't know. I mean, one thing that I'll say is I really like the practical effects of this, like the costuming and everything, like the creature design. Like, it was just great. I really enjoyed that. The puppetry is wonderful. And I like towards the end where he kind of like finds like secret portals in the house, and just like the layout of it, and the surprising turns that it takes. But everything else just, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea. Like, I don't know if this is good or bad. I don't know whether to recommend it or not. I'm just baffled by it, really. It's just such a weird movie.
I remember having fun with this one. However, I gave it a 2 on Letterboxd. So
That's what I mean. Like, it is fun, but I don't know if it's always necessarily fun in the way they want it to be fun. I think there's times where it does like lean into the silliness where you're like, okay, this is fun. We're having a good time. It's lighthearted. And then there's other times where they try and go the serious route, but that comes off as sillier than the silly aims that they have. I don't know. It's just back and forth. It's a wild ride. It's a weird one.
well, at least it's better than House 3, the second story.
Oh, yeah, probably. I don't even need to watch that to know.
Well, that one. Sorry, did I say House 3, the second story?
Yes.
If so, I was typing House 3 when I wanted to say House 2, the second story.
Oh, so there's a second one.
Yeah, there's a second one. House, it's separate. Like, it's in name only, really.
It's just really bizarre. Like, there's a section where like the neighbor brings her kid over, which just seems completely out of nowhere and unnecessary. Just bizarre. Just bizarre. And then like he does find his son, but it's been a couple of years. Like, who's feeding this kid? How? What? I don't. Just weird.
It's a weird
Just a
movie.
weird ass. Yeah.
There is a third one too, called The Horror Show. House 3, The Horror Show.
Wow.
I don't think any
I
of
might
them
watch
are
them all.
like, they're not actual sequels. They're just like, they're separate stories about haunted houses, I guess.
I like the idea. I like the idea of a house knowing everything about you and using that to its advantage.
Dickhead house.
Dickhead house. Just being a fucking dick.
Just poking at you. Just pissing you off.
Yeah. Just and I like that it's creatures too.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Like, 2 creatures just show up and take that kid up the chimney. Who are the creatures? Why are they interested in that kid? The fuck are they doing?
All right, so that is House.
No, I have more questions about
Okay.
House. You help me answer them, okay?
I don't know. I can't answer these questions.
Okay.
It's a weird movie.
It is. It's some. It is some.
Anything else on your list?
Just Midnight Mass, like you. I'm not as deep as you are. And then X Files with John Doggett.
Oh, so you're getting towards the end.
Yep, John Doggett
Is it
in there.
Doggett or Daggett?
Doggett,
Doggett.
Doggett.
I'm supposed to Daggett.
He's such a fucking asshole, fucking dick.
I stopped watching it during those seasons, so I think that there's a lot that I missed.
It's
during
funny
that
because
time.
they essentially make him the new Scully, where he's like, well, this is ridiculous, and there's no way it's going to be that. And now Scully has to kind of play the Mulder role, where
Mhm.
she's like, I've seen some things over the years, so keep an open mind.
Mhm.
And they do have fun with it, where the one episode they fight a metal man, and at
Oh,
one point
nice.
he is like, you're telling me that there's a guy out there made of like super alloy metal? Come on, Scully. And she's just like, keep an open mind. And I was like, nice. Good work.
So you got to the cops episode, the cops crossover.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's,
That was a
I
fun.
love that one, man. That one's so good that they did a freaking cops crossover.
It was, yeah. They do. I like when they do the fun stuff on that show.
Oh yeah, man. They had some really cool ones.
Between that and the Myth arc, that stuff's always good. But man, when they miss, what do they miss?
Oh yeah. I actually was never a fan of like when they would try to do like the big government conspiracy theory type stuff.
I enjoy that. I enjoy those. Because I like how they have that narrative in the show, but it's not always the show.
Yeah, I like
I
that. I
like when
just
it's so it's like two shows in one, you know?
yeah. I always maybe it was just because I haven't revisited the series like properly since I was a kid, but anytime that they would have one of those episodes where it mainly focus on the like the cigarette smoking man and stuff like that, I
Yeah.
would just tune out. Like I'd want monsters and stuff.
But I gotta imagine that probably back in the day that probably was annoying as hell because it even is a little bit when I'm streaming it at home because back in the day you would have to wait a week
Yeah.
to see the next episode. And this happens at home where I have all the episodes at my disposal. I'll watch one at night and like it's not the government thing. And I'm like, oh man, when are they gonna get back to the government thing? Well maybe tomorrow night when I watch that episode. And then I watch that one and it's not. And it's like, man, come on.
Get there. Get there with it.
What are you
Let's
what's going on
go.
here?
All right, let's take a look at what we have in theaters this week. Dune is the biggie.
Oh, that's the one.
I know you're excited about Dune. I'm excited. I'm mildly excited about Dune.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest Dune fan, to be honest with you.
I like Dune. I mean, I liked Lynch's Dune.
See, I now, granted, I saw this when I was very young, so I think as like, a 10-year-old,
Yeah.
Dune is not really the movie for you.
No. No.
But I don't know. Maybe if I revisited Lynch's Dune now, I'd like it a lot more.
This is my wife's thing. She's read Dune.
Oh, really?
She's really, yeah, she is. She's big into Dune.
Big Dune head.
Oh man. Big old Dune head.
There should be some sort of like nickname for Dune fans, like Trekkies.
It's probably Doonies.
Doonies? You think Doonies is
Dooney. I'm gonna look it up. The internet.
what
Sure
do they
will
call
tell
Dune?
me.
What do they call rabid Dune fans? Either way, I'm pretty excited for this. I'm sure that it will at the very least be a visual spectacle. So we have that to look forward to. So yeah, I'll definitely we'll be reviewing Dune next week for sure.
Oh, definitely.
We also have Ron's Gone Wrong. This is an animated film, so check out Ron's Gone Wrong.
Did you say Rons?
Ron, yeah, like the name Ron.
But multiple Rons?
No, like
Plural?
Ron apostrophe S.
Okay.
Ron's gone wrong. There's an army of Rons, and they've all gone wrong.
I thought maybe.
I'm actually not too sure about what this is. I think it's about a kid and like a robot or something. I don't know.
Well, Ron is voiced by Zach Galifianakis.
right. All right, let's take a look at what we have on VOD this week. On the 18th, we have Soul of a Farmer. Looks like a documentary. Follows Patty Gentry, a former chef, as she battles to earn a living on her 3-acre farm on Long Island.
That's going to be tough. 3 acres.
Oof. Boy.
Not going to be making a lot of money.
No. You gotta work those crops. You gotta get that. You gotta work every single inch of that land. We got Women is Losers on HBO Max. Then on the 19th, we have Mothers of Revolution, Whitetail, A Magical Journey, and Christmas on the Carousel. Got Christmas movies coming out already. October. All right. The Lockdown Hauntings. Capitalize on that COVID there.
Got it.
We got Ouija Japan. All right. Capitalize on the Ouija film that came out like 10 years ago. Runt. We got Last Man Down. Smoke and Mirrors, the story of Tom Savini. Special effects Maverick. Tom Savini. We have Knocking. This is a psychological thriller. Had some cool elements in that one. Didn't love it. We got Dash Cam. This is not the one that I mentioned a couple weeks ago.
Are you serious?
No, it's a different one. This is a different Dash Cam. This one has Larry Fessenden in it, but it looks not very good. So on the 20th, we have Found. That's going to be on Netflix. And then on the 22nd, we have Warning. What is Warning about? It's like a sci-fi movie set in the not-too-distant future. It's an intense sci-fi thriller. Explores the repercussions that humanity faces when omniscient technology becomes a substitute for human contact. Oh, man, looks heavy. Looks like there's some meaning behind that one. We got Rhapsody of Love, No Future, Broadcast Signal Intrusion. That's a decent one. It's a decent little horror film. Every Last One of Them, At the Ready. That's a documentary. I believe that's a documentary about, students in a high school in Texas enrolling in a law enforcement class.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, kids becoming cops. Wonderful. No one wants that shit.
Nope.
Are you kidding?
Can you imagine? The Estate, Bergman Island, and that's about it for VOD.
All right.
Blu-ray this week. Looks like Scream is coming out on 4K.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this comes at the heels of the trailer for the new Scream movie coming out. I don't know why they didn't call it Scream 5. They should have just kept it numbered. Instead, they went back and they're just calling it Scream. But it is it's a very clear sequel. It's not like a reboot or anything like that. Like, you have all the same characters: Courtney Cox, Nev Campbell, and David Arquette coming back.
They just want to fuck up your internet.
That's what it is, man. Like, just call it Scream 5, dude. Like, Scream 4 didn't. It's not like Scream 4 came out 25 years ago. You know, like, Scream 4 is not that old. So I feel like you could call it Scream 5 and it would work so much better. Either way, I'm down for the new Scream. It's directed by the guy who did Ready or Not, or the two guys who did Ready or Not. So that's a bonus. Got Silence of the Lambs in 4K coming out. Demons 1 and 2 is coming out on a double pack 4K release.
Man, I want to watch that.
Yeah, Demons. Classic, some classic Italian horror right there. Let's see what else we have here. Old, that's the M. Night Shyamalan. That is supposedly atrocious.
Uh-oh.
That has not been spoiled for me yet, so I don't know what the twist is.
It's a beach that makes you old.
Well, no, I know, but obviously there's some kind of twist.
That'd be funny if there wasn't.
That was it. Like that. Maybe that's why people got so mad.
Maybe that's the twist, is that there is no twist. They just get old and they die.
And they just die, and that's it.
On the beach.
That would be interesting. Got Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins. The Protege. Those are two movies that came out, and I literally heard nothing about them.
Mm-hmm.
At least with Old, I heard bad things, you know?
Yeah, at least Old had people talking.
Yeah. There's a movie called Casual Sex. It's with a question mark at the end, from 1988. This is one of those like VHS, Mill Creek Entertainment VHS things. Look, they made the Blu-ray case look like a VHS tape with Leah Thompson. Never heard of it, but looks like something I might be into. We got Splitting Heirs from 1993. That's also one of those Mill Creek Entertainment VHS things. Rick Moranis.
Oh, yeah.
Never saw that. I don't think I've seen that. Cull the Conqueror from 1997. Also Mill Creek VHS thing. No Man of God from earlier this year. I saw this, and I literally forgot all about it. I did not log it on Letterboxd. Wow. Yeah. Totally forgot all about this. It's pretty good. Huh. It's actually like Elijah Wood plays like an FBI agent who is he is interviewing Ted Bundy. Joe Bell, it's one with Mark Wahlberg. Looks pretty bad. Ouija Japan. That's pretty much it. What about Criterion's?
We got two. We got The Incredible Shrinking Man from 1957.
Oh man, I want to see. I think I saw this when I was a kid.
Well,
I really want to.
Got that new 4K digital restoration. The bunch of features on there. Bunch. And then a re-release is Ratcatcher from Lynn Ramsey, which, real quick, as much as I appreciate the contemporary picks that Criterion has been doing lately, I liked it better when they did these kinds of contemporary picks, when they would get stuff that was really difficult to find or see. You know what I mean? Not streaming titles that you can watch on Amazon or Netflix. Like international films that were hard to come by.
Yeah. Well, The Incredible Shrinking Man's on Peacock.
Oh man, you can't cancel now.
No.
You're going to keep finding things. You're going to be stuck with Peacock for the rest of your life.
Yeah, probably. Oh well. All right, I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @filmpulse.net and @filmpulsekevin. And if you have a minute, consider reviewing us on iTunes. That would be extremely helpful. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week. All right, let's talk about some Halloween Kills spoilers. Spoiler time.
One in particular, really.
Yeah, so you had mentioned the voiceover at the end being something that you appreciated.
No, I hated it.
Oh, no, I thought you said you liked it.
Well, I liked what they did with it. Like, the voiceover is just really bad. It was poorly written. But the sentiment is, that he's turning us into monsters and look at us and look what's happening. He's the hate that divides us. And, obviously trying to do that commentary of the current political situation that the country's in.
At one point, I messaged you and I said, "Is Michael Myers Donald Trump?" Because that's what it felt like.
That's kind of what they were going for, And like, come on, give me a break. This is a Halloween movie. It's the Halloween franchise. But I like that as that's happening, and it seems like during that moment, this collective of strangers in this community are coming together and conquering Michael Myers with whatever they have, baseball bats and whatnot. They're victorious, and I like and I appreciate that. It seems like David Gordon Green's, Danny McBride, and teams their commentary to that was, "Oh no, like that's not going to work. Like we're fucked." And Michael Myers just completely annihilates like the entire fucking town.
So they kill him at the end, supposedly, and these idiots just think that he's dead. Like, they know that he has like otherworldly powers. So, you know, you're an idiot if you think you can shoot him a couple times and beat him with a baseball bat and whatever, and that he's just suddenly dead. Like, sorry, no, that doesn't work. So he wakes up and then he kills every single one of them all at once.
Just goes off. Yeah.
And then he kills,
especially Judy Greer. Like,
that was kind of surprising. That, I mean, she was an idiot for not expecting something like that.
Just hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know that he survived a burning building.
Yeah.
So you set a trap in.
So what do? You go into his home, and you go to exactly where you probably know he'll be, and then get killed.
Yep.
I was
but
surprised.
Also you do one little knife stab, and you think, "Yep, that did it."
Yeah. That was the end. That killed it. Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that they did kill her off. Now, of course, we don't know for sure that she's dead.
No, the fucking third one's gonna start with
her being rushed to the hospital.
Yeah,
she's gonna be she's gonna be put to bed next to the sheriff and her mom.
Yeah, and Allison's gonna be in charge of handling all of it from there on out.
Yeah, so we don't know for sure. They definitely made it look like she died, but again, they made it look like Will Patton died in the last one. So
yeah.
It's possible that she's going to somehow survive this, but that's the thing. They ended it on a pretty heavy cliffhanger. So, A, I hate it when movies do that. And B, we're definitely going to be getting a third one, it seems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the third one's called Halloween Ends.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did see that.
Halloween Ends.
So I'm assuming that the third one will again pick up on the same night.
I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's unfortunate. Just didn't like how it turned out. And to be clear, I want to preface all of my criticisms by saying, like, I don't mind it when there's like social commentary in horror movies. I mean, horror movies are known for having social commentary. Like, that's one of the reasons I actually love them. But when it's just feels so tacked on and surface level and unnecessary, that's when it kind of bothers me.
Yeah, I think my issue, because like you, I love a good commentary. I like it when movies have a message.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's just so poorly written, my goodness.
Goodness gracious.
This is written on like a 6th grade level. I don't think that's being generous.
Yeah. All right. That's Halloween Kills.